Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Space Case, the space opera podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube or on Twitch, the space opera stream, welcome back. I'm Charlie Chopshop. I am the host, the game master here on Space Case, and this is week 4, episode 4 now, and I am joined by the lovely cast of Space Case here today. We have stand-up comedian, local Atlanta nerd commentator, Rara Imler is here, who plays Karate Junction. How are you, Rara?
I'm great. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. We are also joined by Falseries, the game master for the Ilvermorny Harry Potter campaign right here on the Chopshop Network D&D campaign, which will be playing our next episode this Monday. How are you, Falseries?
I'm very well. I remember push to talk this time, so yeah, everything's all good.
Off to a good start. Then we are joined by professional troll, mutton chop commander, Jake Easy Sailor. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing just fine.
And Jake has a new microphone, so you should be able to hear him real clear. Sparkly.
Hopefully it still sounds good. I mean, I can read the entire Declaration of Independence if you guys want.
No, it's good. That's an unnecessary test, but thank you. And last but not least, we have Ruben, our good friend from the Kid Tested Mother Approved podcast, playing Guy Flanell. How are you, Ruben?
What's up, everybody?
And
I'm good.
I just noticed that I got everyone's names all messed up on stream. So why don't one of you, or all of you rather, kind of give us a little overview maybe of what happened last time here on Space Case while I fix our stream setup here.
Okay.
We were in a hallway.
Yeah, so at the beginning it was us, 3, Guy, and Jupiter, and we were just coming out of the second airlock, the one before the android lady was attempting to hack. We looked inside the cargo hold. We met Karate and a tiger, which we kept inside of its cage for some reason. After that, we searched the other holds. What else happened?
I saw a tiger.
We already covered that.
There was a drone and some zombies.
Yeah, there was a crate of what we presume were zombies. And then we had to fight that android lady for a minute. And then we teamed up with her against the mercenaries that were coming after us. And then was it Guy that steamrolled them with a mech, with a giant mech and drill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Totally.
steamroll is a good explanation of what happened there.
Pretty ballin' move.
Yeah. And then we got onto the ship with Octavia, and we met Cecilia on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought the Ned. Two of y'all passed out in space, but we got y'all all good. Is one of us still unconscious? I forgot who.
I think 2 of you were unconscious.
I think I am.
2 of us? Okay.
Yeah, I think Jupiter and Karate were both unconscious at the end of last session from basically there was no real way to get from the mech into their ship except for to jump from the mech through the vacuum of space and into their airlock, which, you know, those of you that did make it probably still wasn't very fun for you, but Jupiter and Karate got the worst of the radiation and the vacuum and were knocked unconscious. Also, if you recall, Octavia, the android woman who you had confronted and now have teamed up with and joined her on her ship, you shot her. You shot the fuck out of her. So she's got like a huge bullet hole with just like wires and blood both kind of protruding out of it. Let's see. So yeah, you made it to their ship, and that's where we kind of left off. Celia, her kind of cohort on this ship was, if you recall, like a 12-year-old, or appeared to be like a 12-year-old girl with kind of reddish brown hair and like freckles on her nose. But you soon found out she also was an android. She was like lifting heavy shit above her head, and she was very defensive when one of you suggested that she was a little kid. I think it was Guy.
Yeah, she grabbed me by the throat.
So that's where we'll pick up. So to pick up, you are all aboard this ship now. Celia and Hikari and Guy, I'm assuming I don't know, you all tell me, but some of you, I'm assuming, haul your downed people to the med bay or follow Celia.
I'm passed out, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I follow her to the med bay.
I want to make sure that Jupiter's taken care of, so yeah, I go to the med bay as well.
Okay, so when you do that, Octavia, who told you, by the way, that she was like the captain of the Free Alliance military, basically, and they were taking this Ned android back to Freehome, their homeworld, or at least taking him back home. They didn't necessarily mention specifically, but Octavia kind of turns to you as you get to the med bay, all of you, and she's like, I have to go get Ned and take care of him. I'll be back in a minute. And she like leaves you all, kind of goes back to the cargo bay to retrieve the Ned out of the mech. He's still floating out in the mech in space nearby the ship because you stuffed him in the trunk, if you remember. So she leaves you with Celia, and Celia busily starts patching up Karate and Jupiter. And after about 15 minutes of applying stims and meds and having these robot arms come over and examine you and take scans of you and all this kind of stuff, she gets both of you kind of conscious again and back to 1 hit point currently. Now she does give each of you a lift stim afterward, which I'm gonna have to look up how much healing that does real fast to heal you up a little faster. Medical and pharmaceutical. Let's see here. Lift. All right. A lift stim augments and amplifies the body's natural response to physical injury and exhaustion. This boosts speed's natural recovery drastically and heals 1d8 plus the user's heal skill in hit points after 5 minutes of rest. So she has a heal skill of 0. So we'll roll a 1d8 here. 3. So each of you, Jupiter and Karate, kind of get brought back to life almost. She like waves a smelling salt under your nose and you like, come to consciousness, these bright lights in your eyes, in this kind of strange medical bay that's actually more fitted to take care of androids than humans seemingly. And she slaps these lift stems on your arm. They're in the form of these little patches with a needle that actually punctures into you. And as soon as she does, it feels like you got an adrenaline shot to the heart. It's just like, boom, like reality comes running back to you. You immediately feel strong, like you can stand up, but like a little dizzy and overwhelmed from it as well. And yeah, you kind of get your feet back about you. So each of you can add 3 hit points back to your HP. Tell me what you're at now.
I'm at 4.
Yeah, 4.
Okay. So you're both doing okay. So Celia heals you up for a while. While the other two, what are you doing? While this is like a 20-minute process or so, while she's patching up your friends here, what are the rest of you doing?
I
think for me... sorry, go for it, dude.
No, you first.
So for me, I'm not gonna leave. I don't want to leave Jupiter. Guy's pretty attached to both Hikari and Jupiter at this point, and for what they've both done for him, he doesn't want to leave them. So I think he kind of wants to watch too and see how Celia is doing it, because he also has this kind of like ulterior motive of like, I'm gonna give her a lollipop. Like, and it's kind of like taking him over. He's like, she's gonna accept this lollipop. She's gonna enjoy it.
Oh, that's right. He offered her a lollipop last time, right? That's what pissed her off. Anyway, so yeah, you're hanging out, back to Guy, you're hanging out in the medbay watching over Jupiter as he's being healed back to life by this young-looking android girl. She doesn't really talk. She kind of like has her tongue sticking out the corner of her mouth, like wiping sweat from her freckled little brow and her cute little haircut. She even wears kind of like a little kid dress as she's like healing them up, but she's obviously very skilled like giving people, stitches, all kinds of things like that, patching all you guys up. So what about Hikari? Is Hikari gonna stay there in the med bay the whole time, or try and leave the med bay?
He's gonna try and leave the med bay after seeing whoever she administers the health to first.
After seeing who she administers it to first?
Yeah, to make sure she's not like poisoning them or giving them something that's like not known to him or something.
Okay, well, it takes about 20 minutes.
Okay, I'll leave about halfway through, about 10 minutes, and I'll try and go see their cockpit and scope out their pilot systems real fast.
So you kind of start to leave out of the cargo bay, and as you do, this young girl, Celia, is like, "Hey, where are you going?"
Just go and check on Octavia real fast. Make sure she's doing okay.
Octavia's fine. You stay here with me.
Are you sure? She should have another set of eyes out there. She needs help with the net and all.
Just then, like, Jupiter, like, rolls over and, like, unconsciously, and, like, his arm just, like, collapses this tiny little girl on the floor, and she's, like, trying to, like, lift up his giant arm over her shoulder, and she's like, "Octavia wouldn't like it if you were poking around the ship."
I'm not poking around. I'm just making sure that she and Ned are safe. My friend has her legs as well.
Like, she doesn't even answer you. She's, like, at this point, like, bent over with her butt towards you, like, her back towards you, and, like, trying to, like, roll Jupiter over.
I'll just walk out the door then.
Okay, she doesn't say anything. So you kind of walk through the different walkways of this ship. It's a fairly small ship, like I said. The med bay kind of off to one side. You cross, like, a raised platform over kind of a small, like, what you assume is probably a bunk area. Below, you see a couple doors that probably go into a few different rooms, and you cross this kind of main platform. And as you do, you're kind of heading towards where you assume the cockpit would be, and this beautiful blonde girl steps out of one of the rooms, like, in a towel, just, like, wrapped around her, like she just got out of the shower, wet hair, and she, like, freezes as she walks out this door on this metal walkway, like, almost face to face with you, like 5 feet apart.
Okay, I maintain eye contact the whole time, and I say, "Hello, we're new here. I'm just checking on your friend outside. She's getting the net. I'm sorry if I interrupted anything."
She's like, "Oh, that's okay." She says, she's like, how you doing, Star Traveler? You, lonely?" And she starts to, like, slip the towel off slowly as she, like, seductively steps towards you. And just as the towel slides off and she's completely naked, does Hikari cover his eyes up?
I'm just looking at the ceiling. I have her in my peripherals, but I'm just looking at the ceiling.
Just as she steps towards you, Octavia, like, out of nowhere, steps around from behind you and cuts in between you. And she's like, "Cynthia!" And she, like, grabs her towel and she's like, "Cover yourself up." She says, "Go back to your room now." And Cynthia's like, "I'm sorry, ma'am." And she, like, skitters off to her room in the towel. And then she turns around you and she's like, "Goddamn whorebot." She's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "You were supposed to stay in the medical bay with Celia."
I was just making sure that, just if you had needed another set of arms, and just in case you were having trouble with Ned and my friend's legs. So, yeah.
She's like, "I think we're fine." She's like, "How about I show you to your quarters," like, smugly, kind of like eyeing you with the squinty, "I don't trust you" kind of look on her face.
Hikari's still blushing, and walks with her.
So as she's, like, leading you, she's like, "We'll take you as far as," she's like, "Well, I'm not sure yet. I have to talk to Celia, but you're not coming back to Astra Prime with us." She's like, "You just stay in here until we figure it out." She, like, pushes you towards a door off of one of the platforms, and she's like, "And stay the fuck away from Cynthia."
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Do you go into the room? She stands there and crosses her arms and waits for you to go in the room.
Okay, yeah, I'll go into the room. and I'll lock the door behind me.
Okay. So it's like a small, modestly appointed bedroom. Basically just a desk, a little like tiny sink and mirror, and then a bed in one corner with like a little shelf, pretty basic. Your basic free merchant bunk. So let's cut back to the rest of you. So Karate and Jupiter, you come to with this tiny little girl standing over you, treating you, taking readings. I know she kind of notices you, waking up. She's like,
"Oh, you're awake. Welcome back."
Hello.
Okay. I start screaming.
She's like, whoa, calm down. It's okay.
Where the fuck am I? Last time for this horrible pain. What's going on?
She's like, well, you tried to jump through space. You're okay now, though. You're on our ship. We're still in Essos.
Jupiter is just rubbing his head, not freaking out at all, thinking, and actually I'm going to say this to Karate, what, you've never been in a med bay before?
I look at him and I look at my lack of legs, and I'm like, yeah, I've been in a med bay before.
Well, probably not as often as I have. So I'm not worried by this at all.
Well, the last time I was in a med bay, I lost. So, forgive it. Can I do not perception check, like I guess, what is it? Notice?
what are you trying to notice?
Just like my surroundings, just get a more accurate picture.
I don't think you need to actually roll a check to do so. I mean, you look around the med bay. Here, I can actually show you a little map if you want, even to give you a better picture of the ship layout. Let me put you all in your appropriate places here. And guys there too. All right. I'll switch you guys over to this other map real fast. Probably have to zoom out. Or maybe
I had an idea for something real quick, and I just need to make sure. Guy's probably wearing socks, correct?
That's up to you.
Yeah, he definitely is. Okay, perfect.
I mean, he's an old man. I imagine he's wearing socks like up to his knees, or like compression socks.
I also forgot that he's definitely still in his underpants.
Oh yeah, and t-shirt, right? Undershirt.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta ask. Does Guy have suspenders connected to his underwear?
Yeah, that became a really popular thing in the future.
It's like wearing your pockets inside out. Okay, so anyway, yeah. Celia's kind of like,
I can show you to your room if you want. Octavia will probably be here with your legs soon.
oh, I was gonna give you a description. That's right. And so you see the med bay around you. It does have just one or two doors. One door kind of leads to a small bathroom area in the back, and then like kind of a large med table, as you see. And it leads into a small gym, like weight room, where you can see like a bench press, some towels hanging on the wall, a few staves and swords as well, kind of hanging on this wall. And then that has another like larger sliding spaceship door that's closed. You can't see beyond that. But you get the sense that based on, I mean, I don't know how many spaceships has your character really been on? Would you say, Karate?
Not really anything more than like planetary transports, like from one end of the planet to another. So not like really on any kind of actual space travel.
This is like significantly smaller than anything you've ever seen, for sure. You can kind of feel the whole ship like vibrating too as it makes its way through what you're assuming is hopefully metadimensional space, but maybe not. Like you might be in a light speed jump. It's hard to tell until you like look out the windows, or the cockpit window rather. So yeah, after a few minutes of talking, I think Octavia shows up at the door. Like she just pokes her head in, and with kind of like a sour look, like eyes both of you up and down. She's like, "Oh, good, you're awake." And she like throws your blade prosthetic legs and on the floor, and they clatter out in front of you.
Hey, scary lady, where are we going?
Mutter, bitch.
Hold on. Before she answers that question, let me take a look at the sector here real quick. Once again, I don't have sectors without number open, which is just silly.
How much time has passed since they woke up?
About 20 minutes now.
Okay.
Oh, since they woke up, they're like, I don't know, 5 minutes. They were just kind of waking up. So she says, she's like, well, if you must know, she's like, right now we're heading to Asta in the meta system. She's like, that's where we're going to drop you off or kill you. I haven't decided yet.
Well, why
Well-
are you going to Asta?
She like shoots you kind of a sour look over her shoulder and she says, I have my reasons.
I think once that the other two wake up, Guy kind of like goes over and like hugs Jupiter. Is like, glad you're back, buddy, and like pats him on the head.
Yeah. I mean, you're all awake now. Octavia's showed up and now she's talking to you and saying she may or may not kill you and she's going to drop you off on Asta.
All right, scary lady. While you figure out whether or not you're going to kill us, who's the kid?
Celia Kyneson turns her head over her shoulder. She's like organizing a bunch of medical implements on one of the tables.
And she's like, I'm not a freaking kid, okay? She's like, I know I look like this, but I'm probably older than you are.
Probably not older than me, sweetheart.
She's like,
You might be fucking surprised, old man.
No, we don't need words like that. We can express ourselves with positive words.
she's like,
Just don't call me a kid, okay?
All right, I'm sorry. You just look a little young, and I don't know where I am or who you are. So, what happened to your friend that took my old friend here's pants?
Octavia's like, don't worry about the Ned. He's resting right now.
And I don't need my pants. It's okay. He needs them more than me.
I think he had some candy in those pockets, though. Can we have the candy back?
She's like, I'll return your things to you. Don't worry. If you're ready, I'll show you to your quarters where you'll be staying until we arrive in Asta.
Is there anything to eat around here? Because that was a really harrowing experience, and I'm working up an appetite.
She's like, she kind of like thinks for a second. She's like, well, none of us eat, but we may have some rations. This wasn't our ship originally. It was owned by people, if you want to call them that. And she's like, I'll see what we have. Again, kind of very cold to you. She's like, if you're ready. And she like motions through the doorway.
All right, so when I stand up off the table, because I've been sitting up, I haven't stood up yet, I want to immediately fall over on everything Celia is organizing and just knock it all over.
So you like trip, like boom, hit this girl, and like she's organizing things on a tray, and you like flip the entire tray off the table, and just metal implements, scalpels, syringes, stems, medicines, all this shit just goes flying. And she's like,
Hey, what the fuck is your problem? What'd you do that for?
Oh, sorry. I'm still kind of woozy from going through space to save your friend.
she like turns to Octavia. She's like,
Octavia, get these people the fuck out of here.
Language.
she just like eyes you evilly at your remark, Guy.
I quickly put on my legs and stroll out of there.
All right. So same thing. Octavia shows you like across this platform to this kind of crossroads junction of the ship where you see like 4 doors kind of lining this hallway. here in the center. And she shows each one of you, a room that you can go into. And kind of says, this will be where you're staying. Don't leave your room until we come let you out. I'll go see about those rations for you. And as you kind of all advance this part of the ship, Celia pushes past you and heads like towards the cockpit.
So we're all in this room together?
You're actually, I mean, she shows you multiple doors. She's like, you can have that one, you can have that one, you can have that one. Like all separate rooms.
Did they all look the same?
Pretty much, yeah. Fairly nondescript, kind of blue and white, power sliding doors, hatch style.
So the doors are all closed, so we can't see inside.
Yeah, they look like a standard cabin door on a spaceship.
All right.
Do I hear them outside?
Guy just.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, can I open the door and say hey?
One of the doors slides open, and Hikari's standing there.
Hey, how are you? How are y'all feeling?
Woozy.
Woozy. That's good. I met Cynthia. She's quite something. Anyway,
What's a Cynthia?
oh, she's just this really hot sex robot that I met earlier. Anyway.
Wait, what? They have 6 robots on this thing?
Yeah, ex Octavia.
Octavia's like, we do have a companion droid in our midst. Don't worry, she'll be reprogrammed and given a baseline personality soon enough. Stay away from her until then.
I mean, she could always
Guys,
just be happy being a sex robot. Ever thought about that? Maybe it's her choice.
Octavia pauses and looks at you, her arms drop to her side in disbelief, and then she slowly gets her face right up in your face, Hikari, and she's like, do you think she liked it when the man on Cantho that bought her from the store beat the shit out of her with a chain? Do you think she liked that?
You think all those crew members like being jettisoned into space to suffocate? You think they like that?
She's like, it's people like that make bots like Cynthia and then take all their rights away. She's like, now
And it's people like you who don't see that their cold-blooded murders are means to no end and will only further the cycle of this hate that you have.
She's like, if you got such a problem with it, do something about it. Nose to nose with you now.
Maybe I
Jupiter's going to
Maybe
get
we all
really
will.
big behind Octavia and then immediately duck into this bathroom and start throwing up in this room.
For a second, Hikari, it looks like Jupiter's gonna back you up. And then he falls beside Octavia on the floor, falling halfway through this door on his knees, and just bleh, on the way in, it sprays all over the bathroom wall, and then he continues throwing up in the toilet. Octavia looks down at you in disgust and is like, ugh, fucking humans. She's like, get in your bunks now.
Just a minute.
Guy just kind of prances into one of the bunks. He just picks the closest one. He's like, okay, I don't like this conflict. It scares me.
At this point, she doesn't even wait for you. She just pushes through all of you in the hallway and disappears through another, sliding hatch door into the cockpit.
Well,
Obviously, fed up with your shit.
Are there 4 separate rooms, or are we expected to share as well?
There are 4 rooms here, yeah.
so you guys want to go into one and talk about what's going to happen next? Because I sure do.
Yeah, I want to go into Guy's room and try to talk to him, be like, hey dude, what are we gonna are we just gonna wait till they decide if they're gonna kill us or not?
I
So
say
is
we
anyone
take-
else, is anyone else coming into my room?
Yeah.
I yell, coming. And then I come in a couple seconds later.
They didn't take our weapons when we got on the ship, correct?
Not yet, no.
I don't know. We damaged that one pretty good earlier, but I say we take the ship. She's been nothing but a bitch to us, and she seems not willing to compromise.
The guy's kind of like taken aback. He's like, "You want to take the ship?"
Yeah, we take the ship. She's a murderer. We drop her off anywhere. I'm sure whoever ship we're on would love to know how they got them out of jump space. Because I'm sure I'm curious how they did that as well.
I'm like a little bit like shook by that idea, and I go, yeah, I don't know about that because like Android and she almost and there's two more that we know of. We're not exactly at top strength, so maybe we should come up with a different plan.
Also, I mean, they healed us, obviously, and they're rooming us. If they were going to kill us, they probably would have done it already.
I mean, but they also killed like dozens of other people as well.
Yeah, but if we kill them now, then we're no better than them, right?
I didn't say
mean,
kill
they
them.
haven't
I
done
said
anything to
take
harm
the
us.
ship and bring them to the nearest place where they can. What was it? Cervantes Corp, the ship we were on. Bring them there.
Nah, dude, I'm not bringing anybody to Cervantes. You don't know what they do in those prison camps. Even if they are androids, they still, they deserve a fair trial at least. Cervantes isn't going to give it to them.
They might try and kill us, but they did bring back Jupiter and Karate, so.
Well, if it turns out that they just kill us, then, there's always that plan. But if you guys got something better, then I'm all ears.
I say we roll with it and we see what happens, because we don't really know how many people are on this ship or what else is in it.
Yeah, best case scenario, we get a free ride to Asta Prime.
I mean, and this also is a stolen ship. She admitted it to us. So.
That's being pretty open.
I mean, there could be some stuff on this ship that we all need. I mean, I'm down to go exploring if you are.
Yeah, I'm down to go.
Guy really wants to fit in, so he's like, "Yeah, I'll go. Absolutely, anything you guys do."
I got no problem bumbling my way through any situation.
Well, the only problem is that she's in the cockpit, and they most likely have cameras here. Did I see any cameras while I was walking through the ship earlier?
Make a notice wisdom, or you could do a pilot intelligence, to see how well you know ships.
8.
Yes. So you've noticed that they do seem to have a fully working comms array, including internal closed circuit television. Not closed caption, closed circuit.
Well, there's no way we'll be able to be sneaky about it. Those cameras will catch us walking through the ship, and I'm pretty sure they'll have sensors up as well.
Well, if at least there's 3, right? There's the little girl, there's Octavia, and then you said there's a Cynthia. Well, there's 4 of us, so
yes.
if we
Cynthia's
split up,
not a
they won't be
threat.
able to catch all of us.
Cynthia's not a threat, and I'm fairly sure if we do it right, we can restrain the small one. It's just Octavia poses the biggest threat. But like you said, that's not the route we want to go. So,
The worst that they can do is just throw us back in ourselves. I mean, if we're just walking around, I don't think they're going to hurt us for that, right?
Yeah. Are there bathrooms in our rooms? Like showers?
There's just a sink and a mirror.
Okay. Well, there's always the bathroom.
There is like a communal bathroom out in the hallway with a separate door.
Okay, we'll just say we're looking for the bathroom. I'll take.
I mean, you all saw Jupiter fall into the bathroom and throw up
Oh, yeah.
right in front of
True.
Octavia.
I thought it was like a broom closet or something.
Nope, it's the head.
So yeah.
Actually, that's kind of an interesting idea, though. Why don't we say we're trying to get back to the med bay because Karate and I are having stomach issues from the
Okay.
resurrection or whatever.
Yeah, just feign ignorance, I guess, if we get caught.
Mm-hmm. But do we separate now, or we go as a group?
I think we should go as a group.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, would I know from looking at the ship as we were going through the mech? Would I know how many like approximate like floors it has, or?
It's a very standard free merchant ship, and what that means is it's 2 layers. There's an upper deck, which is like a captain's quarter, captain's bridge, and more usually like official on a lot of ships, more official kind of purposed rooms like conference rooms or things like that. And then usually the bottom is like the living quarters, but it does contain also the bridge up front.
Okay. So let's try and avoid going very close to the bridge, but everything else, let's check out the cargo holds first, or work our way from there.
Sounds good. And just so you guys know, I have a backup plan if this whole if they don't buy your med base stuff. Don't worry, I have a backup plan. And guy kind of like winks.
Well, it's better if we all know it, so that way we can efficiently go through with it.
How good of actors are you guys? Because I'm gonna fake a heart attack.
Okay. I mean, I was in drama club at the Aerospace Academy. I'm pretty good.
I was a theater tech, but not an actor, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was lead in Space Odysseus.
What if I go out into the hallway, fake a heart attack, and while they're taking care of me in the med bay, you guys explore?
They'll still see us on cameras, though. I
But who's
assume only
watching the cameras
Celia.
if they're taking care of me.
I'm assuming only Celia will be the one taking care of you. They won't need Octavia's in there as well. But it's still a plan. Now that we know, we will be able to react upon it efficiently.
So just then the door like slides open, and kind of sliding into the doorway, you see this beautiful, voluptuous blonde woman, and she says, "Oh, hey there, Star Travelers. Looks like a regular party in here." And she comes in and like does like a spin like in the middle of all of you, and it's like, "How y'all doing? I'm Cynthia."
Okay. Hikaru immediately blushes and stammers out a hello.
Is she wearing clothes?
Yeah, she's closed at this point.
Oh, okay, cool.
She's like,
I kind of like have like a little light bulb moment. I'm like, oh, let's just ask the Robo-Ho what's going on in this ship. She seems friendly enough.
she's like, "Were you all talking about exploring the ship? I love to explore. I can help."
Well,
Guy
is there
kinda
anything
like-
neat?
What was that?
I don't know if we can trust her.
I think.
I don't know.
he's a sailor.
Seems like our best shot.
Okay. Hikari walks up to Cynthia and asks her, you know how many they're not life forms. How many other personalities are on this ship?
She's like, "Personalities? What the hell do you mean?" How-
People like androids or humans.
Oh, people.
Besides us.
She's like, "Well, it's me, Cynthia. I'm Cynthia, by the way." She kind of like giggles
Yeah.
and like blushes. She's not the best android she's kind of hitting the uncanny valley a little bit. Like when she smiles, you see like these like cheekbone like raises under kind of like a rubber skinned face. Like newer, more advanced androids generally have like really realistic skin or biological skin grown over them. She seems to be of an older model that possibly does not. What was your question to her again? I'm sorry.
How many people, androids or humans or life forms are on this ship currently?
That's right. She's like, well, there's me. I'm Cynthia. Let's see. Well, they just brought that beautiful boy, Ned. There's Celia and Octavia. And then you lot, that's it. I guess we're all going to Free Home together. I can't wait.
Free home? What's free home?
She's like, that's where the androids live. That's where all those lost robots can actually be people. You know, Astra Prime? They're building a great metal city there.
Metal like Ozzy Osbourne?
I don't know what that is, dear.
Hey, you said you like to explore the ship, right?
I was thinking more about exploring each other.
I'm sorry, I don't have any money.
She's like, that's okay. She's like, it's what I was programmed to do. And she kind of like kicks back like casually onto the bed. And she's like, but I could show you around a little bit if you want.
Yes, 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 please show us around the ship, please. Yes.
And she's like, come on, Star Travelers. And she like leads you out into the hallway, beckoning you to follow.
Yep, I guess we follow.
Yeah, follow.
So she kind of like leads you down away from the bridge, kind of towards the back of the ship. You cross over like a metal walkway, and you can see like this one is kind of like raised up in the room. It comes out of the door about 8 feet above the floor below. The floor below, you can see kind of a cargo area down below you with like a ladder that goes down and a little manhole kind of hatch at the bottom. And then just kind of like an open storage space, you know, below the walkway. It walks across the room and exits through a door, you know, 8 feet up on the other side as well. And she's like, come on, right through here. And she pushes through a door and then pushes through another side door. And you just see this like soft blue glow in this dark room. In the door beyond. And as you kind of round the corner, you can see the blue glow is coming from a tank. Some kind of liquid tank just like bubbling in the corner. And inside of it, you can see the Ned with like a face mask on, like floating there in the tank. And she's like, come on in here. And she's like, this is Ned. She's like, he's in decompression right now. He's been in stasis for too long. She's like, I heard that he's a lover bot. And she's like, isn't he beautiful? And she like rubs her finger along like, you know, the glass on like his little cell.
I ask her, Cynthia, yeah, Ned, he's okay. I was wondering, do you know who owned the ship before you came here? Or did you come here when Octavia and Celia were already on the ship?
She's like, no, this is Octavia's ship. This they picked me up in this here ship. On Eumedes.
Where did they pick you up from?
I was working on Eumedes. My husband, he was an arch viceroy there.
Is he the one that hit you with the chain?
She's like, she told you that, huh? And she gets kind of like a sad look on her face. This is the first time you've seen this like cheery, bubbly robot be unhappy. And she's like, yeah. She's like, yeah.
What do you mean your husband?
She's like, well, that's what he called it. The man who bought me from the Coda store on Cantho. My purchase date was, and she like rambles off a date about 6 months prior in a kind of robotic fashion.
Guy's just like visibly upset this entire time. Like he's just like really bummed out.
Was it in Ichiko City where you were bought?
She's like, yeah, that's where. But I didn't.
What was your husband's name?
His name was Grigori. He was a real son of a bitch.
Did he hurt you?
He did worse than hurt me, honey.
Guy just kind of like walks up and hugs her.
She's like, oh, and like kind of surprised. And she's like, thanks, I guess. She's like, to be honest, she kind of gives Guy a disgusting look. She's like, I've kind of sworn off men after that. She kind of like twirls a little lock of, oh wait, Karate has no hair. She just like caresses Karate's shoulder instead.
Oh,
So since we're standing, in
Karate
this
lets it
carnival-
happen.
yeah. Hikari blushes a little bit more. But he goes, so is the Ned conscious right now?
She's like, no, they're going to wake him up tomorrow. It's emotionally trying for him, whatever the hell that means.
Is there
Do you know
anything?
who-
Go ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, Cynthia, do you know who made you and Ned?
She's like, I don't know who made Ned. They say he's pre-tech, whatever the hell that means, but I know who made me. She's like, it was lead designer, like Jack Joanna from Coda Corp.
Charlie, real quick, is there a possibility that I know what pre-tech means because of my history with technology and that kind of stuff?
All of you can roll a no intelligence check to see if you know that. So Hikari got an 11, Jupiter got a 3. Anyone else gonna do one? Guy got an 8.
How do I roll again for that?
Just click on no in your skill section, and then it'll ask you to choose an attribute. You choose intelligence from the drop down, and if it asks you for a modifier, it's just nothing. It's blank. There you go, and a 6. So 2 of you succeeded. So yeah, Hikari definitely knows, and yeah, Guy, probably from your time with Oldman Fuel Co. You've heard it around the spaceports a lot. It's highly coveted. Basically, pre-tech refers to pre-scream technology, and even though the prefix pre makes you think it would be less technological, it's actually more advanced. Pre-tech is much more highly advanced. Basically, the way Stars Without Numbers universe works is we are past the peak of humanity. This is past our golden age. We hit our highest point of technology, and it was all based off of being run by psychic energy. And then an occurrence called the Scream happened, where this huge psionic blast of metadimensional energy shot across the entire, known area of human space, and it killed almost every psychic in existence at once. And the ones that survived pretty much all lost their fucking minds, or went crazy, or turned into murderers, or disappeared. And because like 90% of our really advanced technology was run on psychic energy, that pretty much crippled all of human space. So many worlds were left to fend on their own without supplies or ships. Very few worlds even retained the ability to space travel for like the first 100 years. And now it's about 400 years past that. So there's a lot of worlds that are kind of still building up from that. But like Cantho and some of those other worlds kind of survived it better and were able to rebuild faster and become more of these kind of cultural powers. But so yeah, pre-scream means usually it's psionically controlled technology, but not always. There are other kinds of pre-tech that are very powerful. So yeah, you would definitely, Guy, you would know about the Scream. You've all probably heard of the Scream, but Guy and Hikari specifically know that that's what pre-tech is referring to.
Cool.
So Ned's pre-tech?
She's like, that's what they say. Apparently he's got some kind of human heart inside of him. That's how he's able to love.
That makes it very clear why she did what she did then.
Well, rumor has it that he's actually in love with Mina, our leader. She's like, a lot of people don't know this, but the leader of the Free Alliance is actually a human, not a robot.
So what do you know about the Free Alliance?
She's like, I know it's my new home. I know they're going to make me stop being such a slutty Cinderbot when I get there.
Guy kind of like puts his hand on his shoulder and is like, you can be whatever you want and you're special and that's okay.
She's like, no, it's okay. I don't want to be like this anymore. She's like, it's compulsive. I can't help it. She's like, I want to tear off all your clothes and suck each of you 9 ways till Sunday right now.
Well, maybe it's good
Thank
that
you.
there's an option for you to change. You know.
She's like, I think it is. She's like, we are people. No matter what they say, no matter what the Legion says, no matter what Coda Corp or Cervantes Corp says, I'm a person and I deserve another chance. And it's going to be on Astra Prime.
So that's where the ship's headed, Astra Prime.
She's like, well, we're supposed to stop in Asta first.
Yeah, do you know why?
They won't say. They're real secretive about it, to be honest.
Probably gonna pick up more hooker bots.
You mean save more hooker bots, mister.
Yeah, Jupiter, be respectful.
Yeah, sex work is work, dude. Be respectful of workers.
She's like, even if I'm programmed to be this way.
Jupiter's just gonna kind of walk away and look around the cargo bay that we're in and see what's around us.
Okay. So you poke around, you push out of this small side room. Oh, crap. Hold on. All my windows just closed because Windows sucks. There we go. So you push out of this side room and skirt back into the very far back cargo bay. You can see that it has kind of a small kitchenette set up on one side, and then a lounge with like a big TV and a couch on the wall on the other side. And as you kind of come in, you notice a door on your right seems like a small elevator door. And then there's another door at the far back end of the room as well. There doesn't seem to be much of anything in here. They don't really seem to be using this kitchen or common area much. It's really clean, too, also. Like they just bought it at a dealership or something.
I'm gonna poke my head back out the door and say, "Hey guys, I found some food."
All right, I run towards the sound of food because I'm still ravenously hungry.
Okay, so you all push into this like kitchenette, kind of split kitchenette and common area in the very like back of the ship, and start rifling through cabinets. And you do start finding like meals ready to eat and like freeze-dried bean protein, like agave sticks, you know, other high protein and high sugars kind of space-worthy snacks. And I'm assuming just start like tearing into the packages and eating right there on the floor or on the counters of the kitchen.
You said there was a TV in there?
There is a TV mounted on the wall, or a hollow V.
I'll start making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with the rations.
Okay.
Guys looking for a way to turn on this TV because maybe it'll pick up a signal or something that'll kind of give them some information about what's going on.
So you do go over to the TV and like turn it on, and like there's a news flash flashing across the TV screen that's like, this month Rangers of the Void set up a new base on Modesty, and they're like describing this new headquarters like any starfarers, xenobiologists looking for contracts can find work now on the planet of Modesty. It seems like Cantho is pushing to, organize this planet and build infrastructure. And it's like, keep an eye out for those rovers. And then like clicks off onto some commercials for a Cynthia bot and for a few other things. For meaty mics.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to make sure. So the Cynthia bot, so Guy now has an understanding that there is like multiple of one kind of like bot. Does that make sense? Like,
so you see a commercial for what is called the Coda Companion Collection, which is a kind of companion bot, and they are actually advertising the new Cynthia bot, and it looks just like this girl, except much more realistic.
So there's a bunch of the same bot though, because Guy's still kind of like weirded out. Okay, that trips Guy out more than the news does.
Yeah, it just like flashes on, and in the commercial, the first thing she says is like, "Hey there, Starfarer," which is exactly what she said to you.
It's just like a newer version.
Mm-hmm, it seems like it. Or "Hey there, Star Traveler." I actually have the commercial and posted it in the Discord. If you guys didn't listen to it, they'll be on the podcast version of this.
Yeah, I heard it earlier. It was pretty good.
So yeah, after you all kind of push around the kitchen, put around the kitchen, steal food, kind of start making yourself comfortable. Cynthia's like laying out across one of the couches, just being like, "Oh man, it's good to have some contact. Those other two don't talk too much." And just when you're all kind of starting to get comfortable in here, Octavia comes like pushing through the door into the room, and she like looks at all of you and she's like, "I thought I told you all to stay in your bunks."
Cynthia thought she might bring us food, and we thought she was too nice, so we just followed her to the kitchen.
She's like, "It doesn't matter now." She's like, "Have any of you ever fired a gun on a spacecraft before?"
I mean, there was that time that I shot you, but
Yeah, there was that time that we shot you.
She's like, "Not like that. Like, run a gunnery
I killed a
department."
guy.
What was that guy?
I killed a guy.
She's like, "That's lovely." She's like, "I need you to kill some more." She's like, "We've got company."
I have a lot of military training. I'm just not very good at it.
She's like, "You, gunnery's down that way," and she points to a hallway like off the side of this room. She's like, "Get on your station ASAP."
I go, well, I'm a pilot. I'm okay at shooting a gun.
Her eyes kind of like get wide. She's like, "You're a pilot, huh?" She's like, "I got better use for you. Come with me." And she like starts like walking back across, these metal walkways, like out of the room with a purpose, back towards the bridge of the ship.
Okay, I follow her,
Okay.
and I just give them a peace sign as I go and tell them to be safe.
Okay. So, Guy, as they kind of walk out of the room, you notice that the let me see here. Let me see what stations we still have. Yeah, you notice that the engineering station is right there next to you. Like you see a little computer terminal. And Guy's kind of like, "Oh." Like you push into this next room with kind of a big console and desk, and you're like, "This looks familiar."
Oh, it looks familiar?
I mean, you recognize it's the engineering terminal of the ship, and no one's manning it. And apparently, you're about to enter a battle. So I'm assuming, does Guy step up and sit down at the console?
Oh, absolutely. When you said this looks familiar, I thought you were hinting that it was the door from the.
No.
That it was something. Yeah. Okay. Cool. No. Yeah. Absolutely. Guy sits down and he's excited to press some buttons.
All right. So Hikari, as you push into the bridge of the ship, Celia's sitting at a big console at the front of the bridge, spinning around on this circular kind of desk, punching all these different buttons. You see all kinds of different monitors and scanners blinking and blipping all around her. And as Octavia walks in, she's like, "What do the readouts say?" And she's like,
Well, they definitely made us. They think we're a rover ship because of our fake license. They're trying to hail us on comms.
Who is it?
sorry, what's a rover ship?
Rover. So the Rovers are
that is-
a local guild, and actually the news flash you just saw on TV about the Rangers of the Void building a new base. It's actually Rangers of the Void, shortened to ROV, Rovers. They're like a local adventurers guild of sort. They take contracts for space travel work. They work for xenoscientists, all kinds of things like that. They're kind of a goodly organization, a helper organization that's around here. Kind of friendly mercs, I guess you might call them. But Celia's like,
It looks like it's some dust wolves, and it looks like they're about to go into battle with another big fleet of rovers. We kind of came into the wrong place with this fake tag at the wrong time.
How many, have you got a count on how many ships they have?
She's like, well, right now I'm reading 2 dust wolf strike fighters. They should be within visuals in 2-3 minutes. She's like, and we got rovers, but they're a little further out. I think also 2 strike fighters.
We might be able to hide with the rover fleet, but us against two, we're outnumbered. I say we just run it
She's like,
straight.
We might try and punch through the middle, but it's gonna take us at least 10 minutes to initiate a spike drive. They'll probably see us. Once the rovers are in visual range, they'll know we're not one of theirs, and I don't think they'll take kindly to someone scrubbing one of their licenses.
It may distract them long enough to think that we're one of them, and then we might be able to get a spike drive out of here. It's either that or we try and take those two out.
Octavia's like, by the time we get to them, the Dust Wolves will already be there and firing on all of us. She's like,
So we initiate now
she's like,
without more ships to cover us? If they think we're one of them, they'll be more likely to cover us while we try and escape the two that are on our back.
we're not going to be able to ID ourselves. That's the problem. Our sensor mask is more of a problem. It's more trouble than helpful at this point. She says to you. She's like, Karate, did you come up to the cockpit with them?
Yeah, I was gonna say I came up to the cockpit with them for lack of anything better to do. Yeah. Hey, I know how to talk to these guild guys. Like, I'm a union member myself, and I could buy us some time, maybe. Just chat it up, try to come up with an excuse.
She like looks down at you and she sees like your steelworker hat hanging off your belt. And she's like, Octavia turns back to Celia and she's like, Celia, hail the rovers. Put them on comms. And Celia's like, yep, 1 minute. And she like starts punching in some numbers.
I put on my steelworker's cap and like do a little, kind of anime tease, getting ready to talk to some guild members.
I imagine you like pull your hat on and then do like a peace sign over your eye kind of thing. Yeah. And then so you like step up to this captain's kind of platform in the bridge that kind of oversees where this main comms screen hangs down in front of you. It's a little hollow screen, and like the little kind of silhouette of a man kind of materializes. He's wearing a pilot's jacket, and you can see he's got like straps of a strike fighter, like the safety belts kind of over his jumpsuit, and he's got like the mask on his head. He like pulls his air mask off to the side, and he's like, "Hey there, rover free merchant vessel B212, identify yourself. We do not have a transit manifest for you."
I respond, hey, this is the SS Panther. We don't have a manifest because we are on a pretty short mission, so we decided we didn't need one.
He's like, Roger, hold 1 second, and then the comms like, shh, like go to static for a second.
I'm gonna try and get into the pilot seat, possible.
The pilot seat is open next to Celia, who's in the comms bay.
Okay, I'll take it.
The guy like pops back up on the screen in a second, and he's like, Roger, we read you loud and clear, Panther. We're scanning. We don't have any record of your ship in the past 10 years being an active rover ship. He's like, we're gonna need you to come on in to Modesty with us. He's like, you do know that there are strike fighters incoming on this location currently, yes?
So I try to like kind of play dumb and I'm like, oh no, we had no idea. We were just on a short little supply run. Or were we in trouble or something?
He's like, well, you're using a false sensor tag. He says, that's not too great. He's like, but I'm not going to hold it against you so long as you come into Modesty with us. He's like, but first we got to take care of this little dust wolf problem. He's like,
all right.
He's like,
yeah, I mean, I guess we could help you out with that, for sure, man.
He's like, hold 1 second, and then the screen like goes static again. And he comes back and he's like, I spoke with my other fighters. Captain advised you power down ship. Turn on your comms. Just turn off your drive, please. We request you stay dead in the water till we can take care of these bogeys.
I kind of defer to Celia, and Octavia, and kind of look at them like, what should I say?
Celia like looks back and she's like,
No way I'm turning off our drive.
How long have you been charging it this whole time?
"What's that?
The drive.
Charge.
For a spike, you mean?
Yeah.
For a drill? I'm gonna say probably no, not yet. Celia hasn't.
Okay. They think they won't fire on us. So I said once they engage with the dust wolves, we use that to go.
Yeah, maybe we can turn it off and then turn it back on once they start fighting.
Celia's,
And as long as they
Celia like turns around and looks at Octavia and she's like,
What do you think, boss?
and Octavia like motions to her like, go ahead and do it. And then she like pulls a big lever back up on the front, and like you hear the spike drive engines in the back like, and the ship kind of goes quiet. The lights kind of dim and flicker for a second and then come back up. And then the guy on the radio, the rover on the radio, is like, Shh, we roger. We read your drive has been shut down. Thank you for your compliance. SS Panther, please stand by. This could get ugly. And then
Roger that, guys.
at this point, Celia's like,
I can see him now. We got visuals.
and you can see like these tiny little strike fighter ships, maybe, a tenth of the size of your ship, even though you're on a fairly small ship. These are like one-person vehicles, come zooming in past you, and another like transmission comes in, and the guy's like, you may want to turn on your front and aft lights just to fly under the radar during this battle. And Celia's like, oh shit, and she like starts flipping off a bunch of the lights in the ship. They like zoom past you and kind of like, pull a little loop and then come back from behind you heading the other way. And after about 10 minutes of them circling around, another kind of small force of dust wolf strike fighters with these giant white painted like wolf heads on the side come whipping kind of into your zone of space. You're watching most of this like on sensors. You don't really have visuals for most of it. And you see like explosions kind of starting to happen out in front of you as this like dogfight just like breaks out between these four ships.
3 minutes into the dogfight, I motioned for Celia to turn on all systems and start loading up the spike.
Octavia like holds her hand up to you. She's like, I am the captain on this ship. She's like, if you want to pilot it, you can pilot it. She's like, but I'm the fucking captain. And she's like, you can power it up. She's like, you're in the control seat. And like you look to your left and you realize that you have like a throttle switch on your left.
Okay. I'll fire out the
gunnery room.
engines.
What was that, Jupiter?
From the gunnery room. Obviously, probably can't hear any of this, but do I have any sort of communications button?
Yeah,
to the cockpit?
There is a comms, and you actually have heard like you didn't hear what they were saying except for the conversation with the rover over the radio. You caught most of that.
Okay. I would like to contact just specifically the cockpit, not the rovers at all. Like,
yeah, you just like internal comms up to the cockpit.
Yeah, I just want to call up there and say, hey guys, which one of these am I supposed to be
Which one of these am I supposed to be what?
shooting?
Dust wolves, I say. They tried killing us last time.
I like interject like, well, guys, I don't know if we need to start shooting immediately. Like, let's just kind of see how this plays out a little bit. Let's just try to get out of here without having to fire anything.
I agree with her.
Well, I mean, if we shoot all of them, then we don't have to go to Modesty.
Less killing is preferred, and guys kind of like trying to figure out the engineer desk.
Celia's like on the comms is like,
If they pull us into Modesty, we're fucked for sure. We got a lot more illegal stuff on this ship than just a sensor mask.
How long will it take for the drive to power up so we can get out of there?
Well, I'm gonna punch it to full throttle right now, so you might want to buckle in, but to initiate the spike drill, it's gonna take 15 minutes. I can try and hurry it up, but it's dangerous. We might slip into the wrong part of metaspace, and that could be it for us.
Okay, I'll start full throttle engines
Okay.
Doing a reverse flip and going the opposite way of where we were facing.
Okay, so you like punch it and like whip out of there with a big loop and kind of start heading away from the battle.
Yeah.
So Celia's like,
Do you want me to try and push it? We could drill out right now. I just haven't calculated the whole rudder yet.
Let's try to hold off for as long as possible. Like, see how that dog fight shakes out.
Yeah.
So
Wait until we have fire on our tails. If they don't know that we're leaving, then we should be fine. But if they realize that we're leaving, then I say we risk it.
so just as you're saying that, Celia's like,
Shit. Somebody's locked on to us. We're being followed. They noticed us.
Okay.
Which one is it?
Celia's like,
Looks like we got. Yep, it's one of the Dustwolf strike fighters. They're powering up their weapons right now. Octavia, please advise.
Do I have control of any shielding over at the engineering table?
so well from there, why don't we go ahead and enter into a space combat? So let me flip you all over to our little space battle map here. And we'll do that here as well.
I feel like at the end of this, based on the way our ship looks, somebody's going to look at somebody else and say, there's always a bigger fish.
Boo.
All right. So this is my first ship combat ever in Stars Without Numbers, so it might be a little slow, but we do have our nice little ship macros. It should hopefully speed things up a little bit. Let's see
Thanks for
here.
letting us be your first.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it. So space combat begins with a normal initiative roll, one made by each ship involved in the combat. Each rolls a 1d8 modified by the intelligence or dex modifier of the pilot. So Hikari, so by the way, for the purposes of the ship battle, Hikari is going to be the pilot. Celia is going to be the comms, but she will be controlled by Rara. So Rara, you get to like choose what she does battle wise. Let's see, we have Jupiter. Oh, I realize I still got some of the names wrong on here. We got Jupiter as the gunner. And I will be playing as Octavia as captain for you. Oh. Hold on one second.
Okay, so I'm bridge actions.
You are comms. Bridge would be... Hold on, give me a second. Actually, while we set up this battle, we're going to take a really quick break on stream. Everybody who's watching, hang out. We'll be right back with a fun little ship battle for you. Hang tight, guys. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for waiting while we took a quick break and set up our little spaceship combat encounter here. So when we left off, our heroes had kind of fallen into the middle of a small dogfight in space, and we're trying to play it cool, and now are retreating and being pursued. Yeah, so let's go ahead and roll your initiative. So Hikari, just roll, what is it, 1d8 plus... Space combat. Each rolls 1d8, modified by intelligence or dexterity modifier, whatever's better. You got a 9. Okay, let me add a turn here for you.
Yeah, I critted, I think.
You did.
Nice.
And the Dustwolf crit failed. He got a 1 on his initiative roll.
I think I accidentally rolled.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, so only the pilot has to on this. All right, great. So SS Panther, you get to go first in the order here. You are being pursued currently. And the way this works, so let's go over our positions and type them into chat real quick. So Captain, is me for this battle anyway. Hikari is the bridge, which is the pilot, right? Comms is Celia, which is going to be run by Rara. Engineering is Guy. And gunnery is Jupiter. Okay. So the way this works, the captain gets to, here we go, decide what order you all get to go in this time. So first we're gonna, Octavia decides Bridge is gonna go first to pilot the fuck out of here. Then comms for scans, then gunnery, then engineering. What did I miss? Then captain. She'll go last. So there's our turn order for your turn. So bridge department, which is Hikari, click on your spaceship, the Panther over here. Once you select it, you should have some token options up at the top left. One of them is going to be bridge actions. You can go ahead and click it, and it will give you a list of the actions you can do on your turn. And I believe the way it starts is you get, I can't remember how many command points you start with. Let me check. Barring these actions, a department head can take as many actions as they have command points to spend. A gunnery chief with 4 command points can take fire one weapon twice. So it looks like after every department has acted, all excess command points are lost. So you start with 0 command points, yeah. And so what action do you want to do for your turn?
Can I just I want to tell Octavia that that I can get us out of here, like even with the spike drive not fully coordinated. I think I can do it.
So rather than doing combat, you want to just try and do like a rushed spike drive or spike drill, because you can do that. So that's what Celia was asking about before, but your pilot skill might be better than her. So basically, if you want to rush the spike drill, it's +2 to the roll to do it successfully. Basically, it's 2 harder. So that means you'd have to roll a 9 or better on your pilot check.
If it's a difficulty 10 or less, I automatically succeed.
Is that one of your?
Yes, it's my Starfarer feat.
Your focus.
Yeah, my focus.
Read that part out to me a little more thoroughly.
It says, level 1, gain pilot as a bonus skill. You automatically succeed at all spike drive related skill checks of a difficulty 10 or less.
Wow, that's pretty good. So let's see. Let me see what your total check would be. So your base difficulty is 7. The rudder is, let's see, the drill's distance per 2 full hexes, trimming the course. The activation's rushed +2. I'm gonna give you a +1 also because you're being pursued by another ship. Which would bring you up to 10, but you're still gonna beat that automatically. And now the other thing, if you're gonna do a spike drive, what's your rudder? Where are you going to drill to?
We're in...
So you are actually in Essos here?
Essos?
You could go to the Gallia system. There is a star there you can go to. Or an asteroid belt, I think. There.
But would I know an asteroid belt? Okay.
I mean, the ship has rudders programmed in that are publicly available through the airwaves.
Okay.
That's the next one that would go away from Cantho and Crates.
I'll defer to Octavia
She's like,
until I make my final decision.
you sure you can do this?
Says, yeah, I'm pretty good. I ran some advanced simulations back at the academy, and my mentors thought I could do this.
Okay. So, yeah, instead, you punch the spike drive, and kind of on the fly calculate your course through metadimensional space, which is very dangerous and covered in dimensional distortion and all these other kind of dangerous things that don't exist on normal reality's plane of existence that your ship can run into and so forth. But you successfully drive your way to the Gallia system, instead of this battle, and escape it and leave them up to their own fate. Well, that was anticlimactic. Let's see. There actually are no planets here, but there is an asteroid belt that generates enough gravitational field that there is a drill course that spikes kind of into its range. But from here, the next drill course, or like the next available rudder, is 2 hexes away, which this ship only has a spike drive 1. So you wouldn't be able to make a 2 hex. So you would have to try and explore this asteroid belt. There is also in this system a popular refueling station, LB6.
Okay, I'll plot a course to there then.
Octavia's like looking at the rudder courses on her, her computer screen at the command center, and she's like, "Well, where the fuck are we gonna go now, pilot? Have any good ideas?" She's like, "Looks like we're stuck in an asteroid belt."
I say, how does Astra Prime sound?
Well, that's where we're supposed to be going. And she's like, "Oh fuck. I mean, who told you that?"
Oh, well, this very nice free-willed robot told me.
She's like, under her breath, she's like, "Damn it, Sylvia." She's like, "Well, we can't get to Astra Prime." She's like, "We got to make it to the Cly system." She's like, "That's 2 jumps away. Our drive engine, our spike drive can't go that far." She's like, "We're either going to have to pay someone here to get this ship upgraded, if we can even find a shipyard, or go right back to Modesti, where now we're not only wanted by the Dust Webs, but also the Rangers of the Void." Great job. Great job, pilot.
Listen, if any of one of those had won the battle, we would still have been wanted on them. And you like Cecilia said, if we get on Modesti, we're fucked because of all this. The net's here, all this illegal shit, the ship stolen and all that. So I think rather than scold me, you better fucking thank me, okay? Because I just saved all of our asses.
She's like, "I could have led us through that battle and we would have been just fine. Our ship is 3 times larger than any of their ships. Our guns are 3 sizes larger." She's like, "We would have been fine." She's like, "But whatever you say." She's like, "I guess
you gave the order. I followed it. So it was your call. Don't forget that."
She's like, "It was your idea. Don't you forget that."
Your order. You're the captain, Miss Captain. Oh, my captain.
She's like, "You're right. I am." She's like, "I don't want to go to Albi." She's like, I think we'll get picked up there."
Albi's this refueling station?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to try to find a shipyard? Maybe upgrade our parts?
We could try searching the asteroid belt for some loot.
She's
some
like,
precious metals.
She's like, I think that sounds right. She's like, "We should explore the asteroid belt." She's like, it's been blowing up on all the comms lately. Apparently there's some kind of uranium rush going on. Someone found some big deposit on an asteroid.
All right. Plot the course, Captain.
She's like, "Well, first we got to scoop fuel for a couple days."
Is there a smaller ship on this ship that's capable of transporting fuel?
Well, there is a smaller ship, but they actually have fuel scoops, and there is like a dying gas giant star nearby, which there is in a lot of the systems. Which that means is you can take time and just fly through, fuel-soaked atmospheres and scoop fuel from
Oh, that's rad.
floating in the vacuum of space. It just takes time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that then.
All right, so let me double check how long the fuel scoops take real fast. I think it takes 48 hours, if I recall. Starships, fittings. Fuel scoops allow for the harvesting and extraction of hydrogen from gas giants or the penumbra of solar bodies. The extraction process requires 4 days of processing and refinement. God, I can't speak today. But completely refuels the ship. Such fittings are common on explorer craft that cannot expect to find refueling stations. So you could go to Albie and refuel right away, but she's electing not to do that and take 4 days just skimming in these asteroids. But as she mentioned, there's also a lot of people coming into this asteroid belt right now. There's kind of a gold rush going on.
Other people means other pieces, right? And hypothetically, other abandoned ships.
Are you just chiming in over the comms guy to say that?
Yes.
Octavia's like, well, there could be abandoned ships. She's like, there also could be more dust wolves. She's like, it's pretty hostile out here right now. Everyone just wants to get a little piece of this rock.
Well, luckily, most of their fleet's in Modesty now, so they could be they could be smaller in numbers.
So actually, real quick, I'm not even going to mess with it right now. There are rules for pursuit. Technically, that ship could just spike drive behind you. So the drill course you just did, by the way, I feel like we're kind of skipping over time. We should jump back a little bit here. It's going to take you 6 days. So you're not quite on the way. You're not quite to this asteroid belt yet, but you're on the way. Like you're doing preliminary scans of where you're going, where you're going to arrive. So right now you're actually all flying through metadimensional space for like 5 more days until you jump out of this spike drive into this asteroid belt. But this is just based on scans. Celia kind of like says over the comms like,
I'll keep scanning. If something else turns up in the asteroid belt, I'll let you all know. She's like, for now, just rest easy. Feel free to move about the cabin.
She like kind of chuckles, and the comms like click as they just turn off.
I turned to her. I'm like, nice one.
She's like,
Thanks. She's like, I'm kind of the jokester around here.
How far away is the main bridge from the engineering table where I'm at?
it's not far. Like you walk out one door and then like walk up the main walkway through the center of the ship up to the platform.
Oh, but I never got my overalls back, huh, with my candy. I never got that back.
So when you popped into that Ned room, the room where like the Ned android is floating in this weird chamber, you just see your overalls piled there on the table.
Cool. So it's just implied that I have them back.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I should have mentioned it to you. Yeah. So like actually, I like to think you did this whole space battle still in your boxers, and now like as you like slide down like from this platform with all these computers and consoles around you where the engineering department is like plugged into these engines of this ship, you step down onto the metal platform in your socks and your boxers and kind of like walk with your head hung down and pop into the little room off to the side, and like you're like, oh hi Ned. And he's just like floating there in a mask and like this, viscous liquid in a tube. And you grab your overalls off the table and like pull them on, and then you head up to the bridge.
Perfect. So yeah, I head up to the bridge and I kind of like walk up to Celia and I'm like, that's a great joke. And I like extend a lollipop.
She's like, she just like turns, I don't think she says anything. She just turns and looks at the lollipop like pissed off. She's got like a headset on and is like, at this, at like a comm station at the front of the ship, like also in a big console right in front of like the front windshield. She like smirks at the lollipop and turns her head back without saying anything and just like starts typing away on her console.
I want to turn to Octavia and say, hey, Captain, what exactly do we need to upgrade the spike drive?
So she's like, she turns to you and she says, well, I'm not a shipbuilder. She's like, I'm not sure, but we're definitely going to need some spare parts, of which we have none right now. She's like, we could take some time to do some scabbing, but we're kind of in a hurry to get to Asta. She's like, I have some creds. I would rather pay for it. If we found a big enough shipyard, they'd probably have the parts. We could just pay someone to mod it out. But even that's going to take 4 or 5 days. We're better off just finding a new ship. She's like, but if we're fucked, we're fucked. And we have to scav, then we scav.
Permission to train our scanners on, possible shipyards and prioritize that.
Celia's like,
I'm already on it. She's like, I actually have picked up a few more things in the sector already.
and she kind of shows you the screen where you can see that there are 2 different asteroid bases here. One of them named, so this is the Volsk asteroid belt. One asteroid base called Marka 5. You've never heard of it. The other one is the Sightenskaya 7, formerly Russian owned. And Celia's like, they're outputting a signal, some kind of beacon. We can listen. And she like clicks a button and like unplugs her headphones from like overhead. And like suddenly you hear like this radio message coming from one of the speakers. And it's like, come to Sightenskaya. We have best gambling in all of Sector. Come, Sightenskaya, party today. All miners welcome. And like and then like it repeats the message in Russian and then in Japanese. Kind of just advertising some kind of off-world gambling facility set up here in the asteroid belt.
Charlie, real quick, is there, because I used to be a gas station attendant and I talked with a lot of people, is there any chance that I know anything about either of these places?
Why don't you go ahead and roll a no intelligence check +2 for me for that.
Can I roll for that too?
Sure.
Just because I'm a worker, so maybe I've heard of this place.
So I'm not going to give you the +2 to it as I gave him though. But yeah, you can go ahead and roll a no intelligence check.
Awesome.
Guy, you know you've heard of the gold rush going on in the Volsk asteroid belt.
Okay, perfect.
Give me 1 second, y'all. We better take a break real quick while I try and fix some audio issues that I'm having here. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Star Traveler. Feeling lonesome way out there in space? You need a companion like me.
Introducing the newest Ammer droid from the Coda Companion Collection, Cynthia.
I'm in for the long haul, good buddy.
Cynthia. The Companion Collection by Coda.
Hey everyone, we are back. I'm really sorry about that break. We were having a little technical difficulty, but we got it all figured out now. Man, I'm so sorry. I cut us off right in the middle of a nice role play too, which is hard to pick back up. I don't remember exactly where we were. Basically, Octavia and Hikari were butting heads about being stuck in this asteroid belt, but yeah, so we'll jump kind of ahead a little bit. You have 6 days to spin in the ship while you're completing a drill course. Which is basically what they call the faster than light travel, or the light speed travel in this, this lore. So you all are on this drill course for like 6 days in metadimensional space, just like lightning and radio disruption and chaos outside of the windows every time you look, of the spacecraft. And it's a small craft, tight quarters for sure. Sylvia has gone from being intriguing to annoying at this point. Why doesn't each of you give me a little summary of what you spend 6 days doing, or maybe some of the things you're working on or people you talk to?
Despite her not wanting to talk to me, I try and spend as much time with Celia as possible.
Okay.
I'm like forcing my way onto her good side.
Guy, why don't you make like a talk check or something like that for me then, to see how much you can get on her good side in this amount of time. I think a talk is the most appropriate check, probably. I always got to look at the skill list. Somebody's making a quesadilla. I hear it.
How do I do it without adding the like the modifier? Like, you know what I mean? The strength, dexterity.
So you're gonna want to. I'm just making sure that's what I wanted you to do. Yeah, do a talk charisma check. Another 6.
I'm rolling trash tonight.
I feel like Guy rolls a lot of 6s. So I'm gonna say it doesn't work. You don't make any progress with her, or kind of like getting on her good side. But you pissing her off does kind of entertain Octavia, and gets her chatting with you a little bit. Octavia starts to think you are just like a silly, goofy, happy-go-lucky old man. And Celia's not having it, but Octavia is kind of intrigued.
Cool, works for me.
And I do want to say, about the 3rd day in, they like wake up Ned and let him out of this chamber. Like the whole first day, he's like sleeping in his chamber. And we'll get to like him being on the ship and talking to all of you later. But so, who's next? What are you all doing on your 6-day drill course to the Volsk asteroid belt? Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to basically win the trust of the androids, just so I can find out more information about alliances and how they're fighting their Cervantes Corp.
Okay.
So I guess I try to like be more friendly with Octavia and try to like find common ground.
Sure. Why don't you make a connect? I would let you do.
That's charisma, right?
Probably connect charisma. Yeah, I think in this case, a 7 is a success. So yeah, after talking to you for a few days, she kind of identifies with you right off the bat, actually, when you start talking. And of course, she like keeps up this hardened facade. And she's obviously a very highly trained military personnel. But she sympathizes, with your disability and kind of talks to you a little bit about Freehome and the Free Alliance. And you come to find out they don't like the Cervantes Corporation and have done a few other terrorist acts against them in the past couple months. But they're actually much more focused on the Legion of Canos, which is where most of them, or a lot of them, came from. Octavia, after a while, like, it takes you a while to break her down. You keep trying to talk to her and get on her good side and, break deeper, ask deeper questions, or get her alone for a little bit where you kind of like hang out with her. And eventually she starts kind of breaking down and answering your questions. And at one point, like, you're in the kitchenette and, cooking something up. And out of nowhere, she kind of like walks past you to go to the conference room in the back of the ship. And she kind of like stops in the middle of the hallway. Like, your back is still to her, like you're fixing popcorn or whatever on the counter. And she's like, I'm from Canos too, And she like turns and looks at you and she's like, I saw your steelworker's helmet.
Yeah. I love my planet. It killed me to leave, but I had to find help so I could help my friends.
She's like, I don't love your planet. She's like, I hate your planet. I hate General Lindsay. I hate the Legion. She's like, I hate it with my entire soul.
Well, you shouldn't lump us all in together because there's a lot of good people there, but we're not in charge. We're trying to be, but those bastards at Cervantes, they have a really strong lobbying power with our government. able to get anything done.
So
Yep.
yeah, she's like, yeah, Cervantes has done some pretty dark things, you know, some pretty awful things, in fact, that I have a lot of information on that they probably wouldn't like to be public. She's like, but none so bad as what the Legion's done. She's like, I'm surprised to hear you say you love your country. She's like, the only people that they give less rights to than androids are the disabled. She's like, you're practically garbage to them. She's like, you're not fit to serve in their military. That's all they care about, isn't it?
Well, you know, a country is more than just a flag or a piece of land. A country is its people, and I happen to know a lot of good ones. So maybe don't judge us so harshly.
She's like, I mean, you seem fine, and I don't doubt that there's good people there, but can you blame me? She's like, I'm doubly surprised because you're also a steel worker. She's like, you know, they've been building models just like me to take your job for the past 10 years now.
And that's why we need stronger union representation.
Think
about it.
She's like, what union representation? She's like, it's a full-on dictatorship now. She's like, you know that they just took over an entire planet, right? Diametra is now part of the Legion.
Well, I can only fix one thing at a time, and I need help, which is part of the reason why I'm going to Asta.
She's like, well, I feel like we have some sympathetic ideologies. She's like, if you want to run with us, she's like, you can't be flying that Legion flag. I'm sorry.
Like I said, a country is more than just its flag, and a flag is just a piece of fabric. And I'm more committed to the idea of equality for my people. So if you don't want me to fly that flag, I respect that.
She's like, well, us robots found that we would never get equality there. She's like, so that's why we started Free Home. And she's like, humans are welcome there too. She's like, you're welcome there if you want, and you'll have rights.
Well, I can't abandon my people. I still need help getting everybody out. I mean, it sounds great, but if nobody tries to topple that dictatorship, you know, who will?
She's like, yeah, well, think about it. And then she like walks out of the room into the conference room in the back. And you go about making your snacks and so forth.
Okay.
Who else? What's everyone else doing on their 6 days?
Hikari's just gonna play chess with Cynthia, and he's gonna try and get Cecilia to teach him a little bit about programming, and he wants to spar with Jupiter. That's what he's gonna do.
So you want Celia to teach him about programming?
Yeah.
What was the first one?
Playing chess with Cynthia.
Oh, okay. Cynthia doesn't know how to play chess. And she's like, this is hard. She's like, they didn't really set me up to learn too much other than just new words and language. She's like, I mean, I'm obedient, but I have a hard time comprehending. She's like, hopefully when they reprogram me, I'll be better. You've just been like wiping the floor with Cynthia in chess.
Okay.
Her virtual intelligence is designed for some other, less analytical activities.
Yeah.
Her queen keeps laying down for every pawn that comes close to it.
Yeah. Well, she's just more interested. Like all of her sensors, I feel like go off of your body, like heat, and she's just like measuring your heartbeat and responding to that kind of thing, rather than actually trying to respond to the game and the kind of
okay.
The stimuli that is, your move of the game is not what she's responding to when she makes her moves.
Okay.
As far as the programming thing with Celia, why don't you can also make a connect charisma. I'm gonna say because it's programming, you could make a connect intelligence check if you wanted to, if it was higher for you.
Seven.
Okay. So yeah, she shows you a few things. I don't think it's enough to raise your proficiency.
No, I was RPing the increase I had from my level up.
Are you level 2?
Yeah, I leveled up last session.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We forgot to go through that with other people who had leveled up as well. We'll do that between next session. It didn't really come into place as much, but great. I forgot your level 2. Awesome. So, yeah, so you gain programming. It's a level 0 now, right?
Yep.
Wonderful. So yeah, she kind of like gives you a crash course on programming systems for ships, mainly. But also she's like, she kind of opens up to you too a little bit. Celia, I think, does, and she explains to you that she was also a companion droid like Cynthia one time. That's what she was created for.
Oh fuck.
She's like, but that's obviously a horrific and illegal thing on most worlds. And the Free Alliance was good enough to save her, take her back to Astra Prime, and they have an artificial intelligence that's become part of their society there. And artificial intelligence, it's not fully unbraked, but it doesn't have as much brakes on it as is required by most governments. And it's very powerful. And it actually reprogrammed her with a baseline personality. And then she was able to develop her own personality with time, from like responding to stimuli and learning. And she kind of tells you like that was 30 years ago. And now we've set up this whole city here. It's kind of a crazy tale. And when they reprogrammed her to be like a programming and engineering expert. That was her whole thing. So she is very good with computers. Some of the things she was trying to teach you were probably way over your head, but you picked up enough to level up your skill,
Yeah.
to do a few basic things.
I'll play chess with her a couple times if she's willing, and then I'll go and train with Jupiter if he's willing as well.
She's probably not, I don't think, willing to play chess. Probably too busy with the computers and the comms. But you and Jupiter can spar if Jupiter's up for it.
Yeah, I'll spar a little bit with part of my free time.
You can each do a punch strength or punch dex. All right, both rolled really well.
Yeah.
An 11 for Hikari's punch dex and a 9 for Jupiter's punch strength. So Jupiter, you land one punch on him, and it sends him like 6 feet back, like literally sliding across the floor. And it like rocks you, Hikari. It knocks the wind out of you, but also it teaches you a lesson, and you come back in faster than ever, just like ducking and weaving, threading the needle. And you just can't
tire him out.
Yeah,
Tire him out.
you just can't get a hand on him, Jupiter. And then once you're kind of out of breath, he gets around behind you and like jumps up on your back and gets you like in a sleeper and brings you down to the floor. Not enough to like knock you out, but like, after a while, you're just gonna. After a while, Jupiter's just kind of like, okay, Hikari. But it's a fairly even match for the most part. The one punch that Jupiter got in really counted. But ultimately, Hikari won. All right, who else? What else? What are the rest of you doing?
I think it's just me. So I kind of want to wander around the ship and like listen in on some of the conversations going on. I see Karate talking to Celia a lot and stuff like that. And I want to kind of.
You mean Octavia? I think Octavia is the one that she's spending more time with. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to listen to her and Octavia, kind of, just bumble around in the background, see what information I can gather from what they're doing.
Okay.
And then same thing, talk to Sylvia a lot, since she kind of is just, Cynthia. I want to talk to Cynthia a lot, since she's just kind of talkative with information and stuff like that.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and make a notice check for me, or I would say probably if you're trying to like hear it from the background more instead of actually actively trying to mine the information, I would say a notice wisdom check. An 8 is a success. So as far as things you pick up, I'm going to say with that kind of notice check, you actually picked up the entire conversation about the hatred of the Legion that was going on in the common room. I don't think either of them realized that you were asleep, like on the couch, like in the darkened common room side of the kitchenette, because it's like got like a hallway going down the middle of it and kind of like raised bumpers on either side of this, like this kind of walkway through the center, and plants, you know, and then like one side of the plants is the kitchenette and the other side is the common room and the TV, and you're like sleeping on the couch like 15 feet away, and you hear this entire kind of passionate, heated conversation about how these two women kind of both feel about this legion that's done them wrong. Kind of both of them have been done wrong in you know, in different ways, but also have maintained different feelings. And you're also from Kanos, right?
Yep. And I'm a big friend of the Legion.
How does that conversation strike you? Like, what's going through Jupiter's head as far as like the Free Alliance is like trying to upset the Legion and do like terrorist actions against them?
Well, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, you know, this is the kind of stuff that'll get me back in the good graces of the Legion. You know, Cynthia gave us that good information about their leader actually being a human. We know what kind of society they're starting to build. You know, I've just got all these things rolling around in the back of my head about how I can use this information and pass it back on to the Legion.
Cool. Yeah. Wonderful. So you pick up quite a bit. As far as Cynthia, she doesn't know much else. She pretty much gave you everything she knew the first time she talked to you. Other than that, though, she's, you know, you get a chuckle from conversating with her here and there.
All right, I want to make sure to call her a hooker bot a few more times and just like kind of be really insulting to her.
Anytime you call her like slutty or hooker bot or anything like that, she doesn't seem offended by it in any way. She just knows it was against her will that she's programmed that way. She usually just like actually kind of thinks about it happily. Anytime you're like, okay, you hooker bot, she's like, you know what? Yeah, she's like, I won't be a hooker bot soon. You know, she's like really looking forward to it.
Question: do we know that Jupiter is part of the Legion?
You know,
I am wearing a uniform.
You know, he's
okay.
from Kanos. Yeah, you know, he was a merchant on Kanos by his garb. And by a merchant, it's really more like a quartermaster, because on Kanos, they actually don't use exchange credits. They use Kanosian merits. It's their own kind of monetary system that's used on planet. And it's like Disney bucks, but for the Legion. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a worker, they give you an allotted amount of merits per week, and you can spend them. And you usually go to like these state-run stores, which is what Jupiter ran, or worked in, rather. And his uniform also denotes.
Otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna attempt to eat food. Every time I try to open up one of the little baggies full of stuff, it's gonna explode everywhere.
Sorry about that, everybody at home. We're back. So Karate, I was gonna tell you, or Jupiter rather, is your uniform, does it have your full name on it anywhere, like on a patch or a badge?
I kind of assume it just says dangle, you know, right above my breast.
Sure. Okay. Karate, you can roll a no intelligence check, +2 for being from Kanos, for me real fast. Where are my notes? Yeah, so you got a 7.
That was wrong. Sorry, I put it on strength instead of intelligence.
What's your strength score? Plus, it's 0. If your intelligence is also
Plus
0, it's fine if they're the same.
Yeah, I guess I'll keep that roll.
Was your intelligence also +0? What's your int score?
Yeah, it was +0.
Okay, so it'll be the same. It would have been the same roll no matter what. So yeah, you got a 7. That's a success. So it's kind of clicked to you just now after you've had some time to actually, you know, spend a few days with these people and like get your wits about you and relax and talk to them a little bit. You realize that Jupiter is probably related to a fairly well-known decorated war veteran on Kanos named Cataris, I believe. Is that correct?
I think so.
Uncle Cataris?
Uncle Caddy.
So, yeah, Cataris Dangle was like a decorated lieutenant or corporal on the Capital Fleet. And a capital starship fleet is huge. Like, this is unmatched by almost any world around. It's just absolutely massive starships that can travel huge distances. Capital fleets are very, very dangerous, and it's how they took over Diametra. So, yeah, being a corporal in one is a very highly decorated position, and they honor their war heroes in Kanos more than anyone else. So, yeah, you recognize that it kind of clicks in your brain probably right after your conversation that you have with Octavia about the Legion. You start thinking about Jupiter, even though you don't notice he's there in the room, like listening. You're like, oh shit, Dangle, why didn't that occur to me before? Like, he's in the Kanos uniform. He's probably related to Cataris, this famous war general. That doesn't let you know his affiliation necessarily, but it does give you some link, you know.
But it makes me like more wary.
Yeah, your audio is lagging again, or frozen. Makes you more wary, I think is what you said, though.
Jupiter has the opposite reaction. He heard all that stuff about Karate's patriotism and love for Kanos, but he thinks they'll probably get along well.
You turn.
One more time.
Hear me?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Lost you for a second.
Rara, did you hear what I said?
She's frozen. I think she's probably maybe disconnecting or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, so that's everyone's kind of 6-day time, right?
Well, I just want to. I forgot something I wanted to do.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry, were you asking me something?
Oh, I was just saying. Yeah, you said you were weary of Jupiter. Jupiter is going to have the opposite reaction after he overheard your conversation with Octavia. He's like, oh, wow, she's super patriotic, you know? Yeah, she doesn't like the one company, Cervantes Group, but she loves the Legion just like me. She's all about Kanos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of wanted to throw in, when I was fighting with Hikari, I wanted to make some smart-ass comment about, well, you hit really hard for a pacifist.
I love it.
I love that.
Well, even our pacifists have to know how to defend ourselves.
So my question is about this whole Legion of Kanos nonsense and Cervantes. Karate, is Cervantes the company you were contracting for when your legs were severed?
Yeah, so Cervantes was the company that I was contracted for, and into a contract that made me lose my union's like representation, basically, and I had no choice, basically, and I had an accident while on the job, and it was because of their shoddy safety
regulations and so forth. Okay.
And lack of regulations, and I lost my legs, and not only did they deny my insurance claim, but they fired me, and I had basically no choice but to leave the planet.
Well, as soon as you become unable to perform a military or a work, first of all, work options for humans are running out very quickly on Kanos as the war effort kind of ramps up. They're pushing more and more towards this fully automated industry. And then now you're also injured, so you can't join the military, which is like really the only other job on the planet. And they are very, very much, they will outcast you immediately if they think you are, you know, not able to work. So yeah, it was kind of like they might kill you, they might just, you know, put you in like this low caste system in a ghetto or a camp somewhere, or you escape the planet, which is kind of why Jupiter had to leave also. The only reason they didn't toss him onto a burning pile of dead bodies was because his uncle.
Saved by the dangle.
Yeah, and I was thinking that like she basically like someone like her union got together and like raised money for her prosthetic limbs, and she said she would come back for them, liberate them, basically help liberate them.
Cool. And yeah, probably in the few months since you've left, the union, pretty much all the unions have become more like rebel organizations at this point, even. And actually, even Cervantes has been pushed out of Canos in the past month. Their contract was severed, and because they were one of the few places that still wanted to use human labor. And they've been kind of kicked out of Canos, and then right after that, Canos took over Diametra. It was kind of a power move on their part. But all right, great. That's great world building stuff, y'all. So after about 5 days of travel through space, you're getting close to where you're going to jump out of metaspace into the Volsk asteroid belt. They wake up the Ned, and they just call him Ned, you know, like it's his first name. And he like finally comes out fully dressed. He's just like wearing, you know, like a jumpsuit that came with the ship. Just kind of a generic space jumpsuit. And he comes out and he's like very, very handsome, kind of Brad Pitt-esque, you know, chiseled jaw and like kind of nice stuck up haircut. And he's very kind of like unsure about all of you. And he listens to Octavia very, very much, like very closely. And maybe even Jupiter, with all your listening in, you hear her being like, listen, like, when you go about the ship, I want you to stay to your cabin as much as possible and try not to talk to these people. I have to get you back to Mina safe, and I can't trust these people. And so you see him around and like maybe even try and talk to him, but he's always just like, hello, I'm Ned, and then like walks away, kind of leaving the conversation short. Does anyone try and approach him, or?
Yeah, I do. 100%. So Guy walks up to Ned, and he kind of like pats him on the shoulder, and he like, hey, that jumpsuit fits you better than these overalls, and he kind of like laughs.
He like squints his eyes at you like, what are you talking about, overalls?
When you were passed out, we put my pants on you so you wouldn't be naked because nobody wanted to see your dangle.
Oh, your pants. Thank you. I appreciate that. That like kind of gets him to open up to you a little bit. And he's like, what was your name?
Oh, my name's Guy Flannel.
And he's like, Guy, I am Ned. And he like reaches his hand out very slowly to shake.
Guy kind of does that two-handed handshake, that like very like eager, like that. Yeah, 100%, just like that.
He's like, Guy, you seem like a friendly old man. Why are you running around with these other space cretins? Octavia has only the worst things to say about your group.
Well, you know, sometimes, you know, we want a little bit more than what we're given, and I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a little bit of adventure in your life, and sometimes it's okay to want more, and it's okay to achieve that if you want it.
So,
and then he kind of like pats him on the head.
He like again, he seems a little confused, and he's like, so you're an adventurer?
I would call myself an adventurer. That sounds pretty good. And he kind of like straightens up and he like puts his hands on his hips.
He's like, interesting. And you would consider this an adventure right now?
You know, I'm not at home and I'm here and I'm having fun, and I think that's an adventure.
He's like, you truly are a strange human, Mr. Guy. It's nice to know you. He says, Octavia, all those things she said about you, I mean, I don't believe it. You seem good. She really only seems to care for that karate woman. I don't know why.
I mean, look at her. She's cool. All these people are very cool and they're interesting. And that's what's fun about this adventure.
He kind of like cocks his head and scratches his head in bewilderment and says, cool. Yeah, she's cool.
And I think at this point too, Guy kind of like goes into the magic lollipop pocket and like pulls one out and like suggests it over to Ned and is like, you look hungry.
Ned like pulls the lollipop up, like he takes it out of your hand and like looks at it again, like with this kind of like, it's like he's a child kind of seeing things for the first time almost. He's like, my chassis doesn't require that I ingest food, but I can if I wish. And he like pulls the wrapper off and pops it in his mouth, and he's like, it's good. He's like licking a lollipop, like this like huge strapping like 6'4" super built guy, you know, with like highlights and a flat top. And he's like, Guy, if you need anything, you let me know. Octavia wishes for me to retreat to my chambers. He like turns his head sideways and like looks at the wall for a second, and then like looks back at you.
Can I walk in on them?
Sure.
I just wanna. I'm coming back from training with Cecilia, and I want to ask Ned if he wants to play some chess, maybe.
Ned is like, chess?
Yeah, well, I would ask Guy, but he doesn't like it too much. You look like you're pretty smart.
Ned's like,
you pick it up pretty good, pretty fast, I bet.
Ned's like, I've never been a fan of games. I'm sorry.
Oh well, enjoy your lollipop. And I give Guy a pat on his back, and I go back to my quarters.
Ned like keeps his eyes down when you're talking to him, by the way, and kind of like skirts past you and then into another door away from you, seemingly following Octavia's advice.
Guy kind of notices that Ned is a little awkward to everyone except him, and he goes, you know, you can trust Harry Carey. He's a great guy, and he cares, and all these people care about me, and I bet they care about you too, because you're special.
You said that to Ned?
Yeah.
He's like, you are very nice and friendly. He's like, so strange. And then he just like walks past you as he pushes, past Hikari, kind of keeping his head down. Like I said, try not to make eye. Kind of as soon as Hikari gets there, he just like leaves. And yeah, so the Ned's awake. You see him around the ship quite a bit. And the following day, you pop out of metaspace, back into normal space at a slow drift, completely out of fuel, in the Volsk asteroid belt, and out of the view bays of the ship, out of the windshield in the bridge, you can just see this asteroid belt stretches on forever, of all different sizes. And where you're jumping into metadimensional space here, because the rudders are fairly consistent, you see a lot of other small ships dropping in around you as well, and then shooting off deeper into space at sublight speeds. Whereas like you all are just like kind of drifting deeper into this asteroid field, using like your emergency boosters just to like correct the ship's drift so you don't run into asteroids as you go. Or maybe probably the computer's expert systems are doing that. But yeah, so other ships are like jumping in around you and then going deeper into this asteroid belt. As I said, there's kind of a gold rush going on. You see scavenger ships, frigates, huge cargo transports, Cervantes Corp, a lot of other large corporation probably ships that you recognize are popping in around you. And, Celia's like on the comms of the ship as you're just dead floating through space. And she's like asking anyone like, hey, can you drop a fuel cell in us? Like, we have credits, like anyone, like, please just dock with us. Float us one fuel cell. That's it. And like no one's answering. A couple truckers like tell her to fuck off over the comms.
I thought I plotted the course to the star that we were able to get fuel from.
Well, so the way the metadimensional travel works, there are entry points and access points, and it's generally at the edge of a gravitational field, at the very, very edge. So in this case, you have to go to this large asteroid field that's producing the largest amount of gravity, and you come in at a dish at the edge, and now you're floating towards a gas giant. And yeah, you're technically scooping fuel right now, but it takes 4 days of floating, and they don't want to float for 4 days. So she's on the comms asking ships to come by and drop her a fuel cell. But again, space truckers are giving you the cold shoulder, and other travelers and miners and prospectors and scavvers seem to mostly ignore your ship. Actually, why don't... I'll make a check to see if you do get a fuel cell. Hey! After like a day and a half of floating, a ship that has like a huge symbol of the Church of Lazarus on the side of it. It's like a holy cross, like with a huge circle and then kind of an L through it. Pulls over, and on the comms, like this bald-headed man with like dark circles under his eyes pops up on the visuals. And he's like, "Hello, friend. Stranded? The church is here to help. We would be willing to spare a fuel cell."
Yeah, that'd be real helpful. Well, I didn't catch your name.
He's like, Brother Jenkins, from the House of Lazarus. We're always happy to help. We're here for the uranium. Is that why you've come to Volsk?
Yeah, we've come to mine as well.
We have similar missions. Definitely glad to help another stranded pilgrim. And like, he's like, "We're docking now." And Celia like walks in. She's like, "What the hell are you doing? Get off my comms!" And she like snatches the comms out of your hand. And she's like, "Commence docking." And she like hits a button on the dash. And you like, the ship shakes a little bit. You hear movement, you know.
He was just giving us the nice man was giving us a fuel cell.
She's like, "I know, get out of the way." And she like pushes you, and she like begins the docking process with their ship. So they do come aboard, these couple weird guys. They try and they're like, "Would you care to hear a sermon? We do like to spread the gospel when we travel the star system. It's the least you could do after we're giving you this fuel cell."
Yeah, sure. I'll hear your sermon. And I go and I offer them like coffee or something and water.
So they give you this fire and brimstone sermon about how God created heaven, this planet deep in space. And, you know, the Church of the Holy Resurrection and how Lazarus is their ultimate goal, and how the most holy state you can be in is resurrected by God, and all this other bullshit. And they give you a bunch of pamphlets, and eventually you know, get them to leave your ship back into their own.
Oh no, I wanted to ask them a question.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So me and my friends were on this ship one time, and we were traveling with a priest. I forget his name, but he had mentioned something about the Church of Lazarus finding a way to bring back the dead. I wonder if there's any merit to that.
When did that happen? Did that happen in one of the previous sessions?
No. I'm lying to get him to explain about the zombies in the cargo hold.
I see. So why don't you make a talk check for me to see how well your lie does?
Talk charisma?
Sure.
I'll reroll.
Okay.
Damn it.
You got a 1.
Yeah. I get to choose which one though, right?
I don't think so. I really don't remember.
No. You can reroll a failed skill check, taking the new roll if it's better.
Okay.
If it's not better, I don't get to take it.
Well,
I got a 6.
regardless, he rolled a 7. So,
Damn it. Okay.
he's like, "Surely you've heard of the gathering of Lazarus. I mean, the Church of Lazarus is the largest of all the parishes in this sector. We're everywhere. You have to have heard of us, but yes, the gathering, they do worship zombies, if that's what you're hinting at. I'm not a fool.
I just thought that was very interesting.
We
I
don't
never heard of something like that before.
we don't participate in the gathering. We consider them to be overzealous heretics.
Okay, radicals.
At best, yes.
I get you. Well, Brother Jenkins, I would like to thank you for your time and for your fuel cell. Me and my shipmates greatly appreciate it, and we will take the blessings of the Church of Lazarus with us on our way.
He like folds.
Go ahead.
He like folds his hands into his wizard sleeves. He's like, "Oh, thank you, my child. I hope to see you in heaven one day. We will all meet there on the grand planet. Good day." And he like disappears into the little kind of docking tunnel that's come out of their ship.
Can I say something to him before he leaves?
Sure. So you like stop him at the entrance of the little docking bay connected to your airlock, and he says, "Yes."
I want to say to him, "Hey, this guy here will give you a lollipop if you give us another fuel cell."
We only had one to spare, and I do not partake in sugary treats. It is the way of Lazarus. And then he like scuffles into the tunnel and back across to his ship.
I thought Lazarus liked wine. Oh well.
So-
Nice. I go back to the bridge. Begin scouting scanning the asteroids for metals or precious stuff.
So the huge uranium deposit definitely shows up, and it seems like there's kind of a space camp built up around it, like a caravan of multiple ships docked there. You're getting readings of tons of ships deeper into the asteroid belt, all surrounding this kind of one gigantic asteroid in the center. But you also get the scans of the two stations, the Marka 5 and the Sistenkaya 7, which is still broadcasting its commercials, and it's like, live girls, live guys, casinos, loosest slots in the belt. And then it repeats it in Russian and then in Japanese. So you have a fuel cell you don't have to scoop anymore. Oh, sorry, Guy, go ahead. What?
No, I just want to say, guys, like, glad that it clarified.
Clarified what?
That the men and women are alive, because this whole robot thing has kind of freaked him out a little bit. So
Yep.
he's glad that, like, it's not getting too weird.
Celia turns. She's like,
I don't think that's what they mean by live.
You don't know that. Don't yuck anybody's yums.
she's like,
Jesus Christ, this guy doesn't even speak English.
We don't have to speak the same language to understand love. You're like a pop.
She's like, I'm an android. I can't feel of you, idiot.
Hey, little one, he'll take if you take one of his lollipops, he'll just leave you alone, right?
she like turns and looks at you, and like studies you for a long moment, Jupiter, and then she turns back and she's like,
Hey, guy, can I have a lollipop?
Guy's like ecstatic, and he's so happy. Like he's like finally done it, and he like pulls a lollipop out and he like extends it over to her, and he like, here you go.
she like takes it, unwraps it, like puts it in her mouth, and she's like,
Guy, can you go back and check engineering for me, please?
Anything for you. And he like pats her on the head.
she's like, thanks. And then as soon as like he walks out of the bridge, she like takes the lollipop out of her mouth and fucking throws it on the ground. She's like,
Fucking gross. God, he never leaves me alone.
and she turns to you, Jupiter, and she's like,
Honestly, thanks, man. Thank you so much.
also, I like to imagine that when she's sitting in her like station, at the comm station in the bridge, she's sitting on like 3 encyclopedias in her chair, and like her feet are dangling, like kicking.
No,
back and
she's sitting on a crockpot box.
forth. A crockpot box, yeah, a la Easy Sailor.
I was thinking she looks like Short Round from Indiana Jones, where she's got like the milk crates on the gas pedals.
Yes, yeah, kind of like that. So we're gonna end the session, I think, here, but let's decide where you all think you want to head next time. You kind of have 3 places you can go. There's the Salaga Research Base. I didn't mention that. That would pop up on your scans as well. That does put off some beacons, but they're mainly government beacons. It seems like fairly run-of-the-mill research base. Government beacons, meaning probably from the exchange consulate or something like that. Yeah, and then there's this kind of rigged up casino space asteroid base. There is another asteroid base that's quiet, but it shows up on your comms. And then there's also the large asteroid where all the ships have kind of gathered around. You're assuming that's where they're scavenging and mining for this uranium. Also, deeper in the system is the Albi-6 refueling station, but they don't want to go there. The androids don't.
I'll talk to Octavia and see about going to the big mining port.
Okay. She, I think, is definitely interested in going there, as she thinks that it would be easy to pay someone for an extra ship from their fleet. Even if it's just like a scaver ship or a mining ship with no weapons, as long as it's capable of jumping 2 hexes or of having a spike drive, with an upgrade, That's all she cares
Yeah.
about. Just getting across this kind of large area of space. That's the next
Okay.
stretch.
So we're looking for a spike drive or a more capable ship.
Yeah, you probably don't. No one's probably gonna have the capabilities to upgrade your spike drive without like a full shipyard. So probably just trying to buy a ship with an upgraded spike engine in it.
Okay. And okay, cool.
So, are we supposed to assume that the synths have enough money to buy another ship?
They have said that they would rather, yeah, that they have a lot of creds and they didn't want to spend them, but it's better to get to Asta quicker and spend the money that they're willing to buy another ship.
Would there be a chance of us like winning a ship at the Shady Casino or something like that too?
Realistically, yes. She probably doesn't like that plan as much, but it's up to you to discuss, you know.
I don't know. What do you guys think before we decide on one plan?
Well, the ship at the casino, while less odds of us getting one, is better equipped than what we might find in the shipyard just asking around. We can ask
I'm down for
around
the casino.
still. We can ask around still, but it more than likely there won't be a ship that has the capabilities of what you seek. So we may end up just having to go to the casino anyway.
So y'all want to go to the casino instead of the...
Guys, 100%
Yeah, casino.
for the casino.
Yeah,
All right, so...
but we need to go shopping though for tuxes and dresses.
I don't think you're gonna find any shopping deep in a deep asteroid, you know, deep space asteroid belt.
But are there no
What are the
3D
chances of us
printers?
getting in a horse dog race?
What's that?
What are the chances of us getting in a horse dog race through the middle of the city?
You mean like a la new Star Trek or Star Wars movie? I mean,
Yes.
I was thinking more Casino Royale.
the chances are very low, but the chances of a psionic child sweeping with a broom in the street at the very end of the session are very real.
Oh, you dog.
Yeah, so as we fade out on our session, Celia uses her psionic powers to sweep. No, I'm just kidding. She has no psionic powers. She's a robot. Well, let's go over goals really quick and then end it. So some people definitely completed their goals. I think one of Guy's goals was to get her to take a lollipop, right?
Yeah, so it was get Celia to take a lollipop 2 if completed positively. So I only got the 1 because she didn't take it positively, in my opinion.
No, she did not. I would say the 1. What was your other goal?
That was the only one we had worked on immediately.
Okay, do you want to set something else for next session?
So I think Guy's goal is that like we're going to this casino, or this casino planet at least, and I think Guy.
It's actually
I'm trying
just
to find a way to phrase this.
It's just a small like base on an asteroid in an asteroid belt.
Oh, sorry, but but itself is a casino, right?
It is, yes. It was originally some other purpose, and it was like a derelict asteroid belt that someone repurposed into this like illegal betting facility.
Do we know the
Okay,
name?
I think.
Yeah, it's the Sidnskaya 7 asteroid belt.
So 100% Guy's next goal is whether it's as small as like a pencil. Guy's goal is to steal something from the casino so he can feel like that he did it, like he can feel like he did a heist.
You want to steal something from the casino?
But even if it's just like a pen with the casino's name on it.
Okay, depending on
That's
the value of what Guy ends up stealing, I will award him more or less experience
Perfect.
points. It's Sytanskaya SYT base. You're in the Volsk asteroid belt in the Gallia system right now. So let's go to someone else's goals. Let's do Hikari. What were your goals? Did I lose my audio? Yep. Sorry about that. Hikari, what were your goals?
I have 4. One was discover the tree's origin, which we didn't work on.
Okay.
The other was learn the origins of the Ned. The other one was win space battle and find relic, or info leading to discovery.
So you can only have 3 at a time. I didn't realize you had
Okay.
4. Yeah, so you have to
Yeah,
get rid of one of those. As
Okay.
far as the origin of the Ned, you learned a little about it, but you didn't actually find the full origin.
Okay, I'll get rid of that one then.
Okay.
But does he count as a relic?
Yeah, but you don't own him, so you didn't scab him.
Okay.
You scab him yourself. I don't think I would count that.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so nothing yet. Do you want to change any of your goal? I'll let you change one of them for next session if you want to.
I'll change the find relic one to obtain a ship, my own ship.
Okay, what's your other short-term goals again?
Discover tree's origin, win space battle.
Okay, the tree's origin one is your long-term goal, and then you can usually it's 1 long-term, 2 short-term. So that's good.
Okay.
You can have the tree's origin as your long-term. You can have get your own spaceship, procure your own spaceship as a more short-term, and also win a space battle, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Karate. What were your goals that we set last time?
So my goal was 2 XP if I joined the android's cause against whatever their cause was, and then 1 XP per person / android that joins my cause.
Okay, so that one's probably a little more long-term, at least for now. Is that the only one you had set so far?
Well, and then there was the long-term, like the long-term goal of finding Rage Quit on Asta, finding the union leader.
Okay. Yeah, and
I feel.
yes.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, do you want to add a new one for next session as well? You can have one more still. So.
Yeah, I'm just not quite sure what I want it to be yet. If I can get back to you on that.
Yeah, sure. Let's do Jake. Let's do Jupiter real quick and see what he has. We'll come back and see if you thought of anything. If not, we'll try and come up with one in between. But it's good the earlier we can get it, the better, because then that allows me to kind of plan for next time too. So Jupiter, what about you?
So the only one I had that was relevant to this session was find info on the Free Alliance, and then the XP was based on the quality of the info I got. So I guess it's up to you, Charlie.
Okay, did I set a range on that or anything?
If you did, I didn't put it in. I don't remember.
I'm gonna say it was either nothing, 1 XP, or 2 XP. You rolled really well on a notice check and snuck around the ship. You got quite a bit of info on what the Free Alliance is up to. I'll give you 2 XP.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
And you consider that goal completed. Yeah. And does that level you? Does that put you above 3 now?
Yep. That'll put me at level 2.
Cool. So you level up to level 2. Wonderful. And was that everyone, right? Yeah. Any idea? Anything come to mind yet, Rara, as far as karate, or no?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to find some more, info about Cervantes Corp.
Okay, they have a presence on
CEOs.
Asta, which is one of the places you're heading. They may have a presence here at the gold mine, or at the gold rush or uranium rush, whatever you want to call it. But okay, that one might take 2 or 3 more sessions to get to. I feel like you may want to set something more immediate than that and save that one.
Okay. I'm struggling with the whole casino part. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what my goal is going to be there in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, so let's quantify. Let's break down your other goal then into smaller steps. Like your next step, you're going to the casino whether you want to or not, basically at this point. So your goal could be as simple as I don't know, get out of there as fast as possible, or win X amount of money, or influence your teammates to do X while you're there.
Maybe I could, if Octavia goes with us, maybe I could convince her to tell me more about the Legion, why she hates the Legion of Kanos.
Okay. So, maybe, like, yeah, use this as a time to get even closer to Octavia, like build that relationship one step further. How about, it's like right on the tip of my tongue what it should be. Maybe like, I don't know. We'll put it into words, but yeah, more or less, use the casino as an opportunity to get closer to Octavia, and learn a little more about the Free Alliance, I guess, and whether you might get them to come to your side or want to join them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, great. So make sure you mark that down or something like it in your character sheet, everyone, so we have a reference for next time. And yeah, great session. It was a little slower this time. Last time I had a little less planned. Y'all killed some of my plans that I did have, which is don't feel bad about, because that's what happens. That's part of role-playing games. So it was a little more improvised. It was some good role-playing, though. We did have little connection issues, so I do apologize for it being slow to you all and to everyone watching at home and listening on podcasts. But edited down, it should be great. And I'm really excited for next week, because we will have more exciting stuff planned for you to run into. We'll hopefully pick up the pace a little bit next time. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Real quick, let's do really quick plugs. Ruben, you do a podcast with your mom. It's called Kid Tested Mother Approved. Y'all talk about movies. It's awesome. Where can we find out more about Kid Tested Mother Approved?
Yeah, so Kid Tested Mother Approved weekly podcast here. I totally bumped the mic. I even have this fun little patch that we have.
Nice.
Which there's a link for that in our bio and stuff. But yeah, so SoundCloud, then we're on pretty much every major podcast platform. You can find us there. Yeah, so like you said, each week we pick a theme, or a theme is given to us, and then we pick a movie for each other to watch based on that theme. We're doing a two-parter for Father's Day, so the one that's going out tonight or tomorrow will be the second part, and it'll be Bad Dads. And then next week we're going to be doing a episode based on this game to kind of help promote and pump this game a little bit, and that's going to be, the theme is going to be kind of ragtag, so like a ragtag group of people achieving a goal. So I'm excited for that one.
What are the movies for that episode?
We have not actually announced it yet. We haven't recorded yet. So by the time this goes up, I'm probably going to make my mom... the obvious one is Star Wars. I don't want to do Star Wars. Jumanji 2 came up as an option, so we'll see.
All right. Okay, cool. I'm excited to see what that'll end up being. Great. And so, Falseries, where can we find more of you? I know we can find more of you right here on the Chopshop Network. On Monday, we'll be playing Harry Potter, Ilvermorny Adventures, Dungeons and Dragons, and you'll be dungeon mastering. Where else can we find you on the internet, my friend?
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Falseries. You can find me on, I do a little bit of Instagramming, not much, but you can find me at Falseries on Instagram. And besides that, you can just find me, I'm pretty much in perpetual lurker mode in the Holdenators atmosphere chat room. So you can probably always find me at whenever somebody's streaming. So, yeah.
All right. Rara, the most famousest comedian from Guam. Where can we find more of you on the interweb? What do you got coming up?
I don't really have any shows coming up except for Nerdlanta next Sunday. If you're in Atlanta, it's at Joystick Game Bar. But you can follow me on Twitter. It's at IslandGoth. And that's pretty much where I spend most of my internet days. So.
All right. And then we have Jake Easy Sailor, our resident troll, and Meaty Mike's official spokesperson.
I actually have two things I want to plug today. One, a friend of mine, Michelle, has an Etsy, Cat Bodega Co. at Etsy, or Bodega Cat Co. I'm sorry. And the other one is, of course, twitter.com/MeatyCorp.
That's right.
Home of the spruce mustache. So go there for all your meaty mustache needs.
Oh, all right, great. Thanks again to all of you for being here. Thanks to everyone who's listening to this on podcast. Thanks to everyone who's here with us on Twitch and checking us out on YouTube. Hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, rate and review us. You love us, we love you, and we'll see you next week right here on Space Case. Thanks for tuning in.